guys, it's Brittany, and this week we're going to talk about our food groups. Speaking of food groups, do you remember all 5 food groups? Awesome! Can you help me name all 5 food groups? Let's go! We have fruits, vegetables, grains, protein, and dairy. And remember, every single day we should try to eat from all 5 food groups, eating different kinds and colors of food. Today we're going to play a game called Count 'em Up. And for this game, you'll need a piece of paper and something to write with. Once you get your piece of paper and something to write with, I want you to write on one side of the paper number of times. On the other side of the paper, so you can draw a line down the middle, and on the other side I want you to write activity. Going back to the number of times, I want you to start with a 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So writing numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 until you get to 5. Once you have the numbers 0 through 5 written, next to 0 under activity, I want you to write 10 punch-ups. So if, for example, if you didn't eat any dairy today, then we'll do 10 punch-ups together. So punch-ups, we cross the midline, punching up into the air. If you've had one food from that food group, you'll do 10 jumping jacks. If you had 2 food from that food group, you'll do 10 side squats. So a side squat, you'll step to the side, squat in the middle, so bending your legs, and then together. And then back, squat, together. That's a side squat. If you had 3 foods from that food group, you'll do 10 lunges. So lunge forward and back, other leg forward and back. And then for 4, we're going to hop on one foot. So 10 seconds, hop on one foot, or the flamingo hop. And then for 5, we're going to do 10 arm circles. So you can do them high or low, medium, and high. So once you have all your activities written and numbers 0 through 5, you can play this game after we practice together. You can play this game with your family or friends and see how many number of times that they had foods from different food groups today. And even if you had 0 from a food group, there's still some time to get it in before the day ends. You can at least have one food from that food group today. So let's start off with fruit. So I'm going to think of the fruit that I had today, and I've only eaten one fruit today, and that was cherries. So I had cherries for a snack. So, since I've only eaten one fruit today so far, and that was cherries, I'm going to do 10 jumping jacks. How many fruits did you eat today? Awesome. So if you had more than one, I want you to find your number and do the movement for as many fruits as you've had today. Since I've only had one and we're practicing, you can do jumping jacks with me or do your own movement for the number of fruits you've had today. Let's do jumping jacks if you've also only had one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job, guys. All right, so now let's think of how many proteins we've had today. How many proteins have you had today? Remember, proteins are things like beans or meats like pork, beef, some seafood. So I know that I've had 3 different proteins today. I've had sausage, bacon, and shrimp today. So I've had 3. So since I've had 3, I'm going to do 10 lunges. If you've eaten more than 3 or less than 3, you can do the movement for that number of proteins that you've had today. If you've also had 3 proteins today, you can do 10 lunges with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job, guys. Feel the burn in your leg a little bit. All right, so our next food group, let's think of how many grains we've had today. How many grains have you had today? Well, remember, grains are things like pretzels or crackers, breads, popcorns, muffins, pancakes. So many different things could be grains. How many have you had? Well, for me, I haven't had a grain yet today, but it's only lunchtime, so I still can eat a grain for a snack, or I could have grains for dinner. But since I've had no grains today, I'm going to do 10 punch-ups. You can do the movement for the number of grains you've had today, or if you've also had 0 grains today, you can do punch-ups with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job, guys. All right, so let's think of how many vegetables we've had today. Well, I had a yummy soup earlier, and it had 4 different vegetables in the soup. So there were green onions, peppers, it also had garlic, and what else? Potatoes. Yes, it had potatoes in it. So there was 4 vegetables that I've had today. And since I've had 4 vegetables, I'm going to do 10 hops on 1 foot. How many vegetables have you eaten today? You can do the movement for how many vegetables you've had today. If you've also eaten 4 different vegetables today, you can do 10 hops on 1 foot or the flamingo hop with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. All right, our last food group that I haven't named yet today is dairy. So think about how many dairy foods you've had today. Well, I have only had 2 dairy foods today. I've had strawberry banana yogurt for breakfast. Yum. And there was also dairy in my soup. So, because I put milk in my soup, so since I've had 2 dairy foods, I'm going to do 10 side squats. If you've eaten more dairy foods today, you can do whatever movement you have for 3, 4, and 5. If you had less, you can do whatever movement you had for 1 or 0. If you've also eaten 2 dairy foods today, you can do side squats with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. game for my older students that are in 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade. You can practice your multiplication and doing a challenge with your list. So what you could do is, let's say you've eaten 3 different foods today from the fruit food group. So what you could do is times 3 by 5, and instead of 10, you can do 15 lunges. So you could practice timesing the number of times by a factor that you're trying to practice. So you could try your 5s, you could times it by 2s or 3s, 4s, whatever factors that you're trying to practice in your multiplication. You could advance your list and do more of those moves for whatever multiplied by the number of times, do that many moves. How many of you guys had something that's outside of the food group? So I'm talking about things like pop, chips, or candy today. So for me, I've had 1 pop today. So if you've also had 1 pop or candy or chips, you can run in place for 10 seconds. If you had more than that, so let's say that you had a pop and a candy bar and you had 2, then you can do it for 20 seconds. But if you've had 1 pop or candy or chip like me, let's run for 10 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job, guys. I hope you continue this game with your family, friends, and remember, every time we exercise and as often as we can, we should drink healthy beverages like water, and remember to balance our plates with foods from all 5 food groups, picking different kinds and colors of food to help keep us the healthiest we can be. I hope to see you guys next time, and thank you for joining me today. Bye-bye.